I'm Trent, aka oTradeMark here, and welcome back to rating your team, reanimated anime fighters teams. I don't actually have a series names for this, but we'll keep thinking of it. We'll come up with a good name for the series. But basically what I'm doing in this series is I'm taking your guys' teams and I'm giving you suggestions on how to make it better. If your team's really bad, we're probably not going to use this for a video because this is more geared for players that have finished the Noob to Pro series. So this is like, you're basically entering the end game and maybe you're even far, maybe midway into the end game and you're not quite sure what to do because there's a lot of decisions to be made in the end game of anime fighters. But this isn't really geared towards, the really early players. That's more Noob to Pro stuff. But this is eventually what I'm trying to transition the Noob to Pro series into, is a discussion about teams and kind of what you can do from here. So in the background, I'm actually just going to max open, try and take advantage of this event. And then today we are going to be talking about Ivan's team here. He is an elite marker who is also very generously donated to the stream. You don't have to donate to be a part of the series. Let me clarify that. I'm going to make a way for anyone to be able to submit their teams. And then I'm not sure how I'm going to choose the teams, but Ivan did very generously donate to the stream, and so we're going to critique his team up next. So let's look at, just first off, I need to give you some props on the monster ace Gyome. Okay, that Gyome is an absolute beast. 332, so he's almost max level there, and he's rocking monster and ace. So that Gyome is definitely his strongest fighter that he has. Monster already makes it insane as a unit, and then you nailed ace as your complementary passive. Very, very hard to beat a unit like that. So the first thing I'm going to tell you, you should be fusing every single second during this 5-time, 5 luck, 5 XP event. Every single bit of your XP should be juicing that Gyome. He's just your primary carry fighter. I probably would venture that he's probably doing like over 100 E more DPS than like any of your other fighters. Okay, so really key on that and make sure that you are maxing out Gyome first. Okay, next of all, I also see, strangely enough, I see Kaido with Prodigy at 334. So it seems like you're really focusing in on Kaido. I'm guessing that you have other Kaidos because Prodigy's fine to level. It's great for leveling. And a non-shiny Kaido is great for leveling. It can be one of your best units. But what I need to know is, do you have additional Kaidos ready to limit break? Because the only reason that I would really be focusing your event on Kaido to get him up to max level is if you have other Kaidos ready. Okay, so he does say, yes, I have 2 shiny Kaidos ready to limit break. So that's good. So you're going to max out your Kaido. The next thing, as soon as Kaido hits 335, you should roll off of Prodigy and you should try and hit Diligent or like a good passive. If you hit a good passive before Diligent, great. If you hit Diligent 1, then you take Kaido from 335 to 336. If you hit Diligent 2, you take Kaido from 335 to 338. If you hit Diligent 3, then you're going to take Kaido all the way from 335 to 340. Okay? That's if you hit Diligent first. If you hit a good passive, then just throw them into the limit break machine with your other 2 shinies. Make sure if you do, don't blow up your Kaido. Okay, make sure you use a decent amount of divine fruits to convert him, especially if you roll something worthwhile, and especially if you get like Diligent 3 and you take him all the way to 340, you would lose so much progress if you blew up your Kaido level 340 by not using enough fruits. Okay, so make sure you're using plenty of divine fruits. I would say at least 37, 85%. Probably if it's something good that you roll, I would actually probably not convert it under 90%. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at your limit broken secrets here. You have some really crazy limit broken secrets as well. You have 2 Yukas. One has Monster Blessing and the other one has Time Lord Blessing. Now, Monster Blessing out DPS's Time Lord Blessing, but Time Lord Blessing is not shabby either. Time Lord Blessing is actually probably your third strongest unit at the moment. Yeah, in fact, it's got to be, because it's going to be stronger than that Gyome. The Gyome is going to be pretty strong as well, and it looks like they're both 325. So if you wanted to quickly DPS test, turn crits on. You have to have crits on for ace testing, but test Gyome and then test Yuka. My assumption is that the Time Lord Yuka actually has better DPS than the ace blessing Gyome, but just verify that. And then after you reach max level on Gyome, what I would do is move into Yuka, Monster Blessing Yuka. And after you max level Monster Blessing Yuka, then I would move into whatever the third strongest DPS fighter is on your team. Okay. Let's so now I want to talk about some of the weird things that I'm seeing with your team. And I've already kind of been mentioning them as I've been asking questions to you. One thing that's very strange to me is that you have this 328 Father Killer, which is limit broken, and it has strong 2 and lucky 3. Now you told me it had leader 3, but you accidentally rolled off the wrong one when you limit broke it. So I understand that you accidentally rolled off leader 3. I get that. Mistakes happen. I've had it. I just rolled off God today. Completely unintentional. Luckily it wasn't one of my best units, but I feel your pain there. Sometimes we make mistakes, but what I'm confused about is then, even if you rolled off of, okay, so you had leader 3, genius 3 was what you had, it looks like, right? And you rolled off of leader 3 on accident, and I'm assuming that's the strong 2 that you got. But then you said you had the genius 3 and you rolled that into lucky 3. And you just kept it because it's lucky 3. Okay. That's a lot to absorb, guys. If you're just watching this, I'm a little confused myself. My point is, at some point you rolled strong 2. Well, let's just start from the base here. You should never limit break a unit until you have the first good passive rolled on it. Okay. So genius 3, I wouldn't have limit broken. Oh, you said you had leader 3. Okay, I would have limit broken the leader 3. So maybe that's where you had limit broken it. But eventually you ended up with the strong 2, lucky 3 strange unit, and you don't know kind of what to do with it. I'm going to tell you right now that lucky 3 secret is fine. Okay. Stop leveling it. That's it. I never want you to put another piece of XP into that 328. It's already a waste of XP that it's above 325. What I want you to do is save up shards and roll that strong 2 into a leader 1, or excuse me, into a lucky 1, lucky 2, lucky 3, or Time Lord. Okay. If you get super lucky, you get Time Lord, you hit the jackpot. If you get super lucky, you hit lucky 3, you hit the jackpot. Lucky 6 units are jackpots. If you get lucky 2 or lucky 1 though, keep it. Hold on to it. That's still a good open unit. It's good for your luck team. You're just never going to use it again as you're not going to level up Father Killer anymore. Okay. That is basically now a lucky 3 utility unit for you. You have a diligent 3 draconic unit. So that one's a confusing unit too, right? Because diligent 3, getting 5 more levels out of Famu would be nice. Okay. He would be strong. Is it worth investing all of that XP into it? It's going to take you so long to max out that unit to 340 just to then, I mean, your second passive, the Draconic, is not even a good DPS passive, right? So I'm not suggesting you invest into that Famu, okay? I would actually, before I invested into Famu, I would max out Gyome, I would max out Kaido, I would max out both my Yukas, and then after all those units, I would actually probably max out. Yeah, at that point, maybe then you could look at maxing out Gyome. It's just the problem with Diligent 3 is if you're gonna invest all of that XP, because it's a lot of XP to get it to get a unit to 340, make sure it's a unit worth pushing there, right? So here, let me give you an example on my team. I'm gonna stop my tiny task in the background. Just today, I hit Diligent 3 on this guy right here. Now, this is a limit broken endeavor, okay? This was not one of my top 8 units before I rolled to Diligent, but now that I hit Diligent 3, he is going to probably be my strongest fighter. When I hit 340 on this endeavor, and I'm gonna try and hit 340 on this endeavor during this update, or during this this 5x XP and time and luck event, I just have to roll off of Diligent 3 and hit anything decent, okay? Tack 3 is gonna be ideal. Any secret passive is ideal. But if we could, even if we only hit like Blessing or Giant or Tank, he's still, with the 5 extra levels, will probably be my strongest fighter on my team. Most likely stronger than my Kaidos. I have a monster Kaido that's also in the incubator somewhere. I don't know where he went. But my point is, Diligent 3 on a unit like this, or Diligent 2 on a unit like this, is worth investing into, right? Because the bonus damage that they're getting from levels on these 2 units is going to be super valuable. Here's an awkward unit though for you. I'm in the same boat as you are. I have a Famu, but my Famu has monster. You see this? My Famu has monster, Diligent 2. Famu monster is almost as strong as basically limit broken divines, right? So I have this really weird place where this unit, if I rolled something like, if I pushed him to 338 and then I rolled something like Tack 3 or Ace, this unit would be one of my best units. But if I miss and I can't hit, I don't hit Ace, I don't hit Tack 3, let's say I just, you know, I roll something like Giant, he probably won't be in my top, you know, top 7, top 6 fighters. So I'm in kind of the same awkward position as you, where this Famu, after I've leveled up my Dragon King, this Kaido, after I've leveled up this Yu-Gi-Oh, after I've leveled up like my Monster Blessing Kaido, then I have the difficult decision of deciding, do I try for Famu next? And you know, there's no right or wrong answer. It just depends how lucky I get. If we get lucky on passives, Famu might be great at 338. Your Famu would even be great if you rolled something like Monster. In fact, if we switch these 2 Famus, I would definitely suggest that you focus on leveling that up, because that would be more like your Yuka. You have a monster on a secret, limit broken secret. If you can push those levels up, he'll be basically a limit broken divine. So that's what I'm looking at, okay? With your team, it's one of those things where it's not 100% what you're gonna do next. But I just want you to keep in mind that the Famu is not a high priority right now, okay? Especially since his secondary, or his first passive, is only Draconic. Nothing that's really going to blow anyone out of the water. The last thing we want to talk about is your Leader 3 unit. So you have 2 Leader 3 units. One is Leader 3 Draconic, one is Leader 3 Lucky 2. Now you told me I'm still re-rolling on my Jimmy to get Leader 3 or Leader 2, as well as my Sword 2. So you understand that your Leader 3, people make this mistake. They have utility units and they try and treat their utility units as like DPS fighters. So they try and mix and match and have some DPS passive and then some utility passive. The only way that works is if it's happening on a unit which is naturally strong by itself. So if that was a Gyome that had Leader 3, I would tell you to keep it and roll for a stronger secondary passive. If that was a Direb, if that was a Kaido, or any limit broken divine really, that you got divine on, or excuse me, Leader 3, then you could consider keeping a passive like Tack 3, a passive like Ace as your second passive. But because it's a Jimmy, and because that's a show, the only thing of value there is going to be Leader 1, Leader 2, or Leader 3 as your secondary passive to go complement Leader 3. It doesn't matter what level they're at. In fact, don't level Jimmy, don't level Show, don't level them at all. I mean, you can throw them in the incubator for like an hour just so they get up, you know, to a decent level, but don't invest any XP during this event into those 2. Instead, you should be trying to save up shards and hit the leader, you know. In fact, you don't even need to save up shards. Every time you have enough shards to roll for one of those 2, you need to hit Leader 1, 2, or 3 as soon as possible. Because honestly, that Draconic is worthless. I mean, the Draconic is okay as a drops team for you, but you know, you don't need that. The Lucky 2, I'm assuming you have a full Lucky 3 team, so I'm just gonna assume that Lucky 2 is also completely worthless for your team. So yeah, as far as like your long-term switch, here's what I would do. The Ghostly, oh, I forgot to talk about that last Ghostly unit that no one knows. That secret Ghostly unit, he says, is a Direb. He only got 2. Unfortunately, he didn't get his 3rd during the event, which means that Direb is now dead to you. It sucks to have a shiny Direb with Ghostly and just have to get rid of it, but honestly, do the DPS test. I'm nearly positive that it's going to be the worst DPS unit on your team aside from the Father Killer and aside from like the Kaido. But the Kaido can be limit broken. The Kaido can be fixed. He will become strong. The Famu even could be fixed, could become strong. The Direb is just dead. It's shiny and it's strong now, but it has no growth potential. Even if you rolled something like Monster on Direb, he can never reach its potential because you can never limit break it. So honestly, just throw it in the vault if you want to throw it in the vault, or fuse it into something. It doesn't really matter. Just stop investing in it though, okay? If it's one of your strongest, you know, fighters right now and it helps your DPS team out, you can use it. Just don't continue investing XP into it, okay? It's not going to stay in your team for a long time. That Kaido, once you limit break it, it's probably going to end up replacing it. And what you're going to end up with is just like Ducky. You're going to end up with about 5 carry fighters. And then you're going to end up with your 3 Lucky 3 units. Well, actually, you only have 2. So yeah, how would you end up with 6? You don't really have a 6th carry. So what I would actually suggest is going for 1 more leader 3 limitless fighter. It can be a mythic. It doesn't need to be. I notice you're rolling on a lot of secrets. I did that as well. The only problem is it's twice as expensive to roll on secrets as it is to roll on mythics, right? Mythics cost 7 shards per roll. Secrets cost 15 shards per roll. If you're just looking strictly for the utility, go with the mythic. Find whatever map you have the most raid shards in. Get some mythics. Roll leader 3, limit break it, roll leader 2 or whatever, right? But yeah, I mean, I think your team is actually a really solid team. But so my suggestion for you over the next week, or let's just say for this event, like I said, max out Gyome first. Kaido depends on what you actually hit. Once you hit max level on Kaido and you roll, it depends what passive you get. That depends if you invest more into him during this event or if you just let him ride. But those Yukas, good units, you definitely want to invest in them. Test your Yuka with Time Lord versus your Jimmy with Ace Blessing. See which one is better out of the 2 of those. And after you max Gyome, after you max your monster Yuka, then decide one of those 2 or the Kaido would be your 3rd unit that I would max for this event. And then looking forward to the next damage event, or even like, let's say 2 weeks into the future, 4 weeks into the future, eventually you want to get those leader 3 units into leader 5 or leader 6s and add 1 more so that you have like 3 leader units that are now benefiting your top 5 fighters or whatever, right? That's going to be kind of your long-term outlook for that. Okay, Ivan? But yeah, I mean, I think you're in a pretty similar situation to a lot of players. They have like 1 really insane unit. That's great. Focus in on it, you know, definitely invest into it heavily, max it out, and then invest into others. As I was telling my stream, I don't have an official method for submitting your teams to me. We're going to create something in the Discord server, I assume just like a channel, where you can submit your... I will give instructions on what type of images I need from you in order to do this series in the future. Also, let me know if you like the format of just critiquing one person's team, or if you would rather a more rapid fire format where I just kind of critiqued everyone's team, you know, multiple teams for maybe a few minutes each. Let me know which you prefer in the comments or in the Discord server so I can kind of plan for the future of this series. But anyways, guys, that was it for me. Malo Alpito. Thanks for watching, and peace. I'm out of here.